Thank you. Tell me, how does JDL plan to accomplish these goals that you've just mentioned? And what problems have arisen both here and in the United States?
Well, certainly, I think that the great problem facing Jews is the following.
Us, both here and in America, is Jews. Jews are a great, great problem. First of all, Jews are never ready to move until the knife is on their throat. That's a Jewish curse. What we've got to do is attempt to convince Jews to look at the future. And the Talmud says, who is wise? He who foresees the future. We've got to put out good, young Jewish leadership. Now, I had a great, great dream, and I still have it, to set up a school in Israel to put out leadership for America. Bring over youngsters here, but only a specific kind, only a talented, bright youngster who's ready to give up 2 years of his life for the JDL once he's finished here. In short, he will stay here for a year, give up everything else, get top-notch leadership training, and then go back to America and be sent to the campus that we would send him to. And he would live on that campus for 2 years, and you would see a revolution for Jews on that campus. That is the most vital thing, young Jewish leadership. The great problem is that most Jews know this is vital. They're not ready to give money because they're afraid to put up a check to the JDL because maybe the FBI will come. Well, the FBI is not going to come. And if it did, tell them where to go. And they usually go. The problem is frightened Jews. Jews are afraid of their wives, of their bosses, of their neighbors, of their other dogs. They're afraid of everything. The answer is young Jewish leadership and funds, Jewish funds. There's so much Jewish money for every nonsense in the whole world. The American Jewish Congress is nonsense. If it died tomorrow, nobody would know it. It was gone. Jews will go to Las Vegas and drop $10,000 on some junket there and not feel it. And then not realize that to put up this kind of a school, which is the most important thing, it'll save their children. But no, for that there's no money. Those are the problems. You've got to convince Jews to be smart. Jews are not smart. Jews are dumb. They're smart for everybody else, but they're dumb for themselves. Once we can convince Jews that they're smart and to act smartly in their own interest, self-interest, everybody acts in his own interest. It's about time that Jews start acting in their own interest and put up money for their own interests.
Could you tell me what you personally see as your future role in the Jewish Defense League?
I would like to guide it. I don't always think that it's being guided properly, and that's I think that any group which is not ready for self-criticism has just about lost any reason for being. I hope to be in the Knesset. If I do, then I'll get my passport back, and I hope to spend half a year in America, half a year here. And when I'm back in America, things will start zinging again, I'm quite sure.
What policy changes do you recommend for both the governments of Israel and the United States?
I don't have major changes in its policy, one domestic and one foreign. The school system of Israel has to be made a Jewish school system. Right now it's a pale replica of the West. It's a Hebrew-speaking Western system. And therefore the youngsters that come out are Hebrew-speaking Westerners. It's got to be made a Jewish school system. Not only in the sense that Judaism has to be taught, but really taught by teachers that believe in it. But it's incredible to me to find the average youngster here who has no concept of what the Irgun was, or what the Sternists were, who cannot name people, the heroes of the Irgun that went to the gallows. It's an incredible thing. What youngster at age 10, 11, 12 back in America never heard of Nathan Hale? Well, there are a lot of people here, most of the youngsters here, who have never heard of Dov Gruner. That's one thing, and that's a tragedy. The second thing is in its foreign policy. It's got to stop being afraid of America. America doesn't do anything for Israel that it doesn't do out of its own interests. Stop worrying about Henry Kissinger. Henry Kissinger or Richard Nixon didn't start sending phantoms to Israel because he felt passionately in love with Golda Meir. He did it because it was to the American interest. So stop giving into America. America did what it did for its own interest, will continue to do so. What Israel has got to do is start standing up to America and say, listen, we thank you for having had the brains to do what you should have done for your own interest. Stop being worried. Get up, be courage to say no. Because in the end, you're going to have to say no anyhow. So why not say it now already? As far as the American government is concerned, realize that the policy of détente, which was started by Kissinger, is a disastrous policy, not for Israel, but for America. The Russians never do anything except for their own interest. It is to their own interest now to get the technology, to get the trade, to get the various things that America can give them. Well, don't give it to them because they're using the IBM knowledge and the technology to start a war and to build up their own forces to be the mightiest force in the whole world. That is what I would tell America. Consider carefully what is your own best interest. And you're not following it now. Russia is a danger, it is a menace, and what you've got to do is build up the power of the free world, which includes Israel.
Excuse me. Now, the last question. How do you evaluate the policies of the Soviet Union, especially in terms of Jewish immigration and in terms of the Middle East?
Russia never does anything that it doesn't want to do unless it has to do it. It has allowed Soviet Jews out only because it has had to do it, because militant Jewish groups have threatened its most immediate interest, which is the détente with America. The moment that we fall into the trap, the illusion that there are 3,500 Jews coming out every single month, and therefore everything is over, then immigration will stop. Go only because militant Jews threaten their interests. And we've got to keep on threatening their interests. Don't allow ourselves to be fooled by the fact that there are Russian Jews coming out now. The moment the Soviet government will feel that they don't have to let Jews out because Jews have stopped their demonstrations, there won't be Jews. In fact, there will be even worse than no immigration. There may be pogroms and physical assaults upon Jews. So it is vital to realize that the Soviets do everything in their self-interest and first to threaten that self-interest.
Now, one of the most important questions, what is the future of the Jewish Defense League?
The Jewish Defense League came into being and should always be the prophet of the Jewish people. It's the one that sees the future. It's the one that has the courage to say what is wrong. It's the one that has the courage to stand up and to be alone and to stand against the tide of all these little pygmies that pass for Jewish leaders and Jewish groups, and never to give them peace, never to give them rest, force them to be good Jews. If these Jewish leaders now in 1973 going into 74 are better Jews than they were in 1971, which is not difficult, that's only because of the fact that we forced them. We didn't give them rest. And I think if someone looks at the difference between the identity and the consciousness of these Jewish groups now and what was just a scant 3 years ago, he can see the great role of the JDL, the gadfly, the one that pushes. We're the Jeremiah of the Jewish people. And the Jewish people always throws its prophets into the pit. The fact is that they end up listening to him. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but certainly next year. And that is the role. It's a difficult role. It's one which forces you sometimes to become an anti-Semite. But that's the role of the JDL. It's a role that has been served in every single period of time by prophets of old. The prophets didn't die out.
There's got to be one in every generation, and that is what the JDL is.
Thank you very much, Rabbi.